What's up, boys and girls? It's the Gypsy. I'm back at it again. Doing a video on two fights today. I guess it's prediction time, you want to call it. And both these fights I'm pretty interested in. I think it's tomorrow, right? I would say I'm more excited for one over the other, but I like both either way. Uh, you probably guess which one I'm excited for. Not because I'm a casual, because I'm not. I'm not a casual, bro. Well, you got to be a dumbass to believe that I'm a casual. The thing is, I'm interested. I've always been interested in Jake. To be honest with you, Jake Paul. This is the fight. What I'm talking about. Jake Paul versus Anderson. I was always been interested in Jake Paul ever since his second fight. I forgot who he fought, but his second YouTube fight. I didn't watch it live. I watched it afterwards. And I said this kid got skill. And after that, I picked him to beat Tyron Woodley. I picked him to beat Nate Robinson. This is a fucking basketball player, Robinson, whatever his name is. I don't even know who the fuck that guy is. I expect him to knock that dude out too. I picked him to knock out Tyron Woodley twice, but almost beat everybody. Well, not almost beat everybody. Beat everybody, 100%, except this one right here with Silva. It's a difficult one for me to say, and that's why it's an interesting fight. And you gotta say that Jake is fighting someone of note because Anderson Silva, yes, he beat a washed down version of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s Julio Cesar Chavez Sr.'s son, Jr., that is. Um, it is the watered down version that he beat Anderson Silva, but I think, to be honest with you, no version of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., not Sr., would have beaten Anderson Silva. I mean, you have to understand Anderson Silva is also a 40-year-old, close to 40 if he's not 40, old man. That he's not in his prime neither fighting that kid. No, when you watch that fight, it took me a minute, man. He's kind of a hard puzzle to solve, Anderson Silva. Boxing wise, MMA wise, is on a different level. Stand up only. I'm not talking about ground game. His ground game wasn't great. It was good. It was above average, but it wasn't like elite. Like, it wasn't a Khabib level or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Uh, he was strong at it, but he wasn't like John Jones wrestling. You know what I mean? But what Anderson Silva has that John Jones does not have at that level is a better stand up. Anderson Silva's stand up is way, way better than John Jones. The only reason why John Jones would have ever beaten Anderson Silva is because of his. John Jones would have beaten him because of the ground game. Would 100% have beaten Anderson Silva because of the ground game, prime for prime. Because the ground, he would just, there was a point in time where John Jones had only been on the ground on the canvas for 30 seconds at all his fights combined. You can't say that about Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva had enjoyed being on his back, either submitting somebody on his back or just couldn't get out of the control over a stronger opponent that he was facing. But that's a different story. That's MMA. We're talking about boxing. Anderson Silva is a heavier puncher. There's a reason why I mentioned John Jones, because Anderson Silva, not only on top of all that, he's a heavier puncher than John Jones. Much heavier. Just ask Daniel Cormier. He'll tell you. And he brings that into the table with this boxing match with Jake Paul. Jake Paul himself is a heavy puncher, but Jake Paul has never faced anyone, maybe in sparring, because he sparred John Pascal and a couple of other guys. So sparring wise, he may have faced someone that hits as hard or even harder than Thing Anderson Silva. But fight wise, he has not faced anyone in his four, whatever, how many fights is that hits as hard as Anderson Silva. And honestly, the best boxer he's faced so far. Because Anderson Silva is gonna do, he's gonna keep him off. He's gonna try to use his jab. He's gonna try to, he's gonna try to hit him. He's trying. He's still pretty good at this age, man. He can still hit from. He's got good timing and not the best timing, as he was better with timing when he was younger, but he's still got good timing. Uh, he's got good reach and he's got a lot of power. The only person I see knocking out anybody in this fight is Anderson Silva. I see Anderson Silva. If there's gonna be a knockout in this fight between Jake Paul and Anderson Silva, I say, you know, Anderson Silva is the one that's gonna knock out Jake Paul, and this is me saying it. Which I've never picked against Jake Paul ever since I saw him the first or second, his first fight or second fight. I can't remember. I think it was the second fight that I thought I saw something special in him. Not maybe it was the first one. I think not the first. I think the second one was he knocked out a basketball player. That's not the guy. So the first one, yeah, it was the very first one. His brother, on the other hand, his brother's the weak. He's fragile compared to him. I don't know what it is. There's a difference between these two brothers. Jake is more durable, and he adapts. I mean, they both got good skills. Don't get it wrong. Logan Paul has skills. It's just he's not durable. His stamina is not on point neither. Maybe because of his extracurricular activities. But his brother also does extracurricular activities. I don't know. Jake also does some shit like who knows what on the side. You know. So I can't speak on that. I don't know. But I know that one is more durable than the other, and one is a better boxer than the other. And I've seen this. I wanted to do videos of him fighting Tyron Woodley, but I didn't. I didn't give a fuck because it's not like nobody's. It's not for hardcore boxing fans, so I didn't. Never did it. But now hardcore boxing fans are getting interested in it, and so I might as well tell you what I've ever thought about Jake Paul. I thought Jake Paul would have knocked out any one of those guys, and his fights are not fake. It's legit. This kid's actually working on his craft, and Jake will beat Anderson Silva, but it's not 100%. His last few fights, it was pretty all evident that who's Ben Askren and who knows, bro. Nate Robinson, that was his name. I don't know. And then Tyron Woodley, all those guys, they had piss poor boxing, especially Ben Askren, had piss poor boxing skills, and they were 100% going to get knocked out. And this guy, Anderson Silva, does have boxing skills, but he's strong as fuck, and he has powerful punch, and he's just a hard matchup for Jake Paul, and Jake. The reason why I'm picking Jake is because Jake has better foot movement, faster hands, and he still has power. And he's still got a good chin. We've seen his chin. He barely gets hit in front anyway, so unlike his brother. So that's the main reasons why I give it like a 60 to 65% chance that Jake takes this. But Anderson Silva is, I don't know how many rounds they're gonna be fighting, but Anderson Silva hits fucking hard, man. You know what I mean? And he has that wind up punching power, like people like, how shit Terrence Crawford has. People like who else? shit, even Wilder has wind up power. You know what I mean? They got wind up power. Like certain individuals, I can't name all. It's like lanky ass dudes that just throw from weird ass angles and they got popped. You know what I mean? I mean the way he knocked out Hellenius, that that's I told you he's gonna hit harder. Like definitely hit harder. He went back and he hit. He didn't really like wind that punch up neither. He just tapped him and that was it. People say it's fake. No, it's not, bro. That was not fake. And you could hear that noise. It was crack. Like when it landed, it landed. You know what I mean? This wasn't Malik Scott that he was going up against. Yeah, it's his friend, but this wasn't Malik Scott, bro. Malik Scott was different. Malik Scott clearly didn't get even touched, and he fucking fell. That was a blatant dive, but this was a legit knockout, bro. He knocked him out clean. He got hit with something. I mean, heavy. You heard it, the noise of that punch. Yeah, and Usyk claiming things that he's gonna fight him. I knew Usyk would have never got to that stadium. That was bullshit. Usyk would have never made it to that stadium. Anywho, all right, the next fight. So I'm picking. To be honest with you, this fight with Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva, I'm going decision. I don't think anyone knocks out anybody in this fight. I think this goes to how many rounds they're doing. I don't know, maybe 8, 10. I forgot. I think last time they went 10 rounds. I forgot who he fought. Tyron Woodley was the last dude he fought. I think he went 10. Maybe I'm not sure. I don't remember. But he knocked him out in the last fight. So I can't really say that. This I do believe. But the problem with Anderson Silva is there's a little problem. Anderson Silva does get tired. He's old. He does get tired after 7, 6 rounds. So there is a possibility that Jake can take advantage of that and stop him in the later rounds. So it's either a late round stoppage by Jake or it goes to a decision. But, I said that, beginning of my video, I said that if there's anyone to stop anybody, it's going to be Silva. But there is a possibility that Jake can also stop him at the later rounds. I'm favoring Jake either way. But it's going to be not an easy fight, a very exciting fight. Very, very exciting fight. I'm going to pick Jake by decision. I think Silva will survive. And Silva would hurt, possibly even drop Jake the first time ever in his career. But I doubt it. Jake is pretty defensively sound. So it's going to go to decision. No one's knocking out nobody in this fight. I think there's a knockout. I think maybe it'll be late, but I don't think Anderson Silva is going to give away that easily. I don't think so. It's not going to happen. I think it goes all the way, and Jake wins it. So in the next fight, this one goes all the way. So like I say, Jake goes all the way. Great fight. It'll be fun to watch. Next fight is this: Loma versus Ortiz. See, I myself don't know shit about Ortiz. I just today, I heard about him a couple times before, a couple weeks ago, months ago. Yeah, I saw bits and pieces, but I never really looked into him. I just recently, just now, looked into him because I'm about to do a video on Ortiz. He is, let me tell you, the technician, or whatever he calls himself. He is like the watered-down version of Teofimo Lopez. Correct me if I'm wrong. He is the watered-down version. He is not as good. And I don't know why they're comparing him to Haney. It's like, hey, it's like too far to compare. Too far of a comparison. It's not even nowhere close to Haney's. Haney's far from stylistically. He's far, and even pedigree-wise, level-wise, he's far away from him too. It's just not even comparable. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, if Tio is far behind, so you can imagine how over Haney. You can imagine how this guy, and who is far behind Teofimo Lopez's skill set, is how far he is from fucking Haney. You know what I mean? So Yeah, do not compare this guy to Haney. There's no, he's not Haney. He is a watered down version of Teofimo Lopez. That's who the technician is. He is a watered down version of Teofimo Lopez, and Lomachenko is gonna eat him up for breakfast, especially if he's drained as fuck or whatever I've been hearing. I'm saying from a certain individual that made a video, and I don't care to say his name. You know what I mean? Even if that wasn't the case, you know what I mean? Even if that wasn't the case, if he was fully hydrated, not fully hydrated, but like hydrated normally, he has no problems to be able with the dehydration issues and all that crap. You know what I mean? Uh, he still doesn't beat because he's, as I said, he doesn't hit as hard as Teofimo Lopez. Let me explain you. There's another reason why he doesn't hit as hard as Teofimo Lopez. The only thing that he does that Teo doesn't do, he has the same exact style as Teo. The only thing that he doesn't do that he does that Teo doesn't do is throw a little more volume, just a little bit more volume. But if you're fighting guys, if you're fighting like Herring, that guy that he was fighting, if you're fighting a punching bag, of course you're gonna throw a lot more punches and you're gonna have a lot more volume. But you honestly believe that Herring dude would have survived Teofimo Lopez? The way he was throwing punches on him? Fuck no, he wouldn't have. So this is an easy fight. I'm gonna be watching it, but I'm not gonna be as interested as the Jake versus Anderson Silva fight, even though skill wise that fight is less than this. But it's more of a competitive fight. This fight, yes, is interesting, but it's not as competitive. This is not going to be a competitive fight. This is just going to be a walkthrough for Lomachenko. Lomachenko is going to. I don't know whether if Lomachenko, who knows? Maybe if he comes in with the revenge that he had, the Sith that he had against that Japanese whatever his Nagasaki or whatever his fucking name is, he comes in like that against this dude, he knocks him out. He finishes him out late. If he doesn't, if he plays like he played with Comey, that kind of stuff. He didn't really, push the pace, like, oh, stop the fight, that kind of, like he does. This kid survives and he loses. Either way, he loses. This kid loses which way, I mean, I'm not saying he comes in injured. Like, if he comes in injured, like, even if he comes in like he was injured with, like, Teofimo Lopez, like when he fought Teofimo Lopez, right? He comes in, he still probably beats this kid. Like I wouldn't recommend him to do that shit, but I think even at that state he comes in and beats this dude because this power is not that great. Teo's was great, but I think Lomachenko overestimated Teofimo Lopez's power, and that's the reason why he lost that fight. Even though he had an injury, he overestimated. If he hadn't overestimated, he could say all he wants with his shoulder and shit. He also overestimated the power of Teofimo Lopez. He shouldn't have. If he hadn't, he would have just walked through. He would have been inside and just dominate him like he did the later parts of the fight. Anyways, easy picking fight. Easy picking. Anyway, so my last video is gonna be my last topic is gonna be about Terence Crawford. I don't even have to go too deep into what Lomachenko would do. We all know what he's gonna do. He's gonna do the same thing against what he did against Lopez in the later rounds against this kid. It's obvious. He knows that this is an easy fight for him. He's gonna go inside, throw angles at him, punch him, left and right. He's just not gonna. This kid's gonna have a hard time figuring out. Ortiz, that is, gonna have a hard time figuring out where to throw punches until he gets stopped in the later rounds, maybe 8, 9, who knows, or he survives some miraculous way because Lomachenko has mercy on D. You know what I mean? It's one of those two. I can't say. I can't predict the future, bro. That's all. That's one thing I cannot do. But I know I'm pretty confident that Loma should win that fight with relative ease. With relative ease, I would say it shouldn't be difficult for him. So for Jake, it's going to be difficult, even though Jake has the better foot movement, better. Well, he has the same. I don't know if he hits as hard as Anderson Silva. That's probably debatable. Anderson Silva, I'm telling you right now, hits harder than John Jones. But he does, and Daniel Cormier can attest to that. You know what I mean? Daniel Cormier didn't want to even stand up with Anderson Silva at all whatsoever, but he stood up against John Jones. Just keep in mind what that means, you know? And so, yeah. And it's going to be a much more difficult fight. The more competitive fight. And that's why, besides the YouTube factor, but that's why the more money is going to be on Jake for, Jake versus Anderson Silva, then there's going to be obviously against Loma Ortiz. Ortiz, nobody really knows, and Loma, they do know, but not as much, Anyways, all that shit said, let's talk about Crawford versus Spence, okay? I'm hearing motherfuckers talk a lot of shit. A lot of shit that Crawford apparently ducked Errol Spence. Okay. I wouldn't call this a duck yet, guys, okay? A lot of you saying that Crawford has ducked Errol, and because he's fighting a Venetian, the Armenian guy, fellow Armenian, myself, But yeah, and that's a nobody or whatever. No. This guy has been inactive for how long? And this is Blue Blood Sports TV. I've been paying attention to him a little bit. Yeah, Blue Blood Sports TV has a stake in the matter. But even then, when you think about it, this guy has been inactive for who knows how long, and he needs a fight. And it doesn't have to be a dangerous opponent like Jaron Boots Anus. Or who else is there? There was another guy that was worthy of mentioning. But Enos is not one of those guys that he should be fighting. He should be fighting someone top 10, but like top 5 and above, maybe 4, 6 place, 7 place, just to keep. Like it's more like you would say it's a tune-up fight. Yeah, it's a tune-up fight, but it's not a tune-up fight in order to prepare for Errol Spence. It's not what it is. It's just for him to stay active, to stay sharp, because he's been out of the ring for so long. But there's a thing about this. So yeah, you could have, let's say I would have had a problem with this. I would have had a problem with him not wanting to fight Errol Spence now if the fight was supposed to be made in November or December and he decided to do this. But there's a problem with this, and the problem that motherfuckers are not really paying attention. It's very similar to Tyson Fury's case. I'm not saying that Terence Crawford is the same as Tyson Fury. Fuck no. I think Terence Crawford will duck more. Tyson Fury doesn't duck. I guarantee you he'll fight Usyk. But with Terence Crawford's situation, it's similar to Tyson Fury's, which I cannot say now that he is ducking until it gets to the point where, yes, 100% I can tell you he's ducking. You know what I mean? And that is, and I'm a fan of Terence Crawford. Shit, I'm a fan of Loma. I forgot to mention you guys. I'm also a fan of Loma. I'm a fan of a lot of these boxers, bro. But if they cross the line, I'll fucking drop them in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? If they're cowards or they don't want, like AJ, for instance, bunch of fire. Errol Spence also, I'm a fan, but he's showing me cowardly signs from Errol. Before, you guys are looking at Errol as like man down, this guy, no, listen, guy. Man down, this motherfucker, as soon as they mentioned Crawford, he was fucking tuck-tailing and walking away in the stadium. And asked, he didn't want nothing to do with answer this types of questions. Come on, bro. And this is the guy that you guys trust in? Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, you can't trust anything that comes out of Errol's mouth. It's the same thing as believing Eddie Hearn and believing AJ. That's why, as much as it looks like all the evidence proves to be against Crawford's side, it's you can't really believe these guys because there's another side that we're not seeing, and I'm gonna tell you right now what that side is. That is very similar to Tyson Fury's case. Tyson Fury needs a fight, right? Right now, that's why he's fighting Chisora. It's just a regular fight, nothing too big, just to stay sharp. He's still gonna fight Usyk because Usyk couldn't make the fight happen on December, so he's still gonna fight him in March or February, whatever it is. He's still gonna fight him. Well, guess what, guys? Errol's situation with Terence Crawford is the same. He's gonna fight Errol at 2023, not this year, but next year, February, March, and then he just wants a tune-up, and he's getting paid for that shit. What, he's gonna wait until 2023, where he's gonna be inactive for a year and who knows how many months? It's the same exact fucking situation. Nothing is different. It's the same thing. The guy wants to be active. He's fighting someone. He's going to take care of business, and then he's going to fight Errol. You think he's afraid of Errol, man? You guys are fucking dumb. This guy stopped Sean Porter by saying, oh, I'm down 10 fucking 10 round. Fuck no. I'm taking this guy out. He drops him twice in the same round. Errol couldn't do that shit, bro. Errol is the one that should be fucking fearing at Terence Crawford. It shouldn't be the way. Why fight 2023? Ask yourself another question. Why is Errol pushing it 2023? Oh, because there's not enough money to make this fight. Dude, not enough money to make the fight because there's not enough attraction from Terence Crawford or Errol Spence. That's why. Well, it sucks to be you. If that's the case, you guys shouldn't fight at all. And that's the no, man. It's all games, man. It's all games. They're not. The pushing to 2023 is because Errol's not sure if you can beat Terence Crawford, bro. And he's pushing it 2023, and Terence is like, you know what? Fuck this guy. I'm not gonna wait until 2023. I'm gonna fight somebody, and then I'll challenge you in 2023. The contract is gonna be still there for me to sign, unless you're gonna run your ass all the way to fucking 154. That's exactly what's happening. Terence ain't afraid of fucking Crawford, bro. I mean, of Errol Spence. He ain't, bro. He's stupid as hell if you believe that shit. He's proven that. He just wants a fucking easy fight. Not John Ennis, where it's just going to be a difficult fight. John Ennis, it might be. I still think Errol Spence is much more a difficult fight than John Ennis, but John Ennis is still a difficult fight because he's a power puncher. You know? And he's a variable. You don't know he just wants a tune-up fight, not because he wants to tune up because of Errol, because he's terrified Errol. No, because he needs is inactivity. Too much inactivity is bad for you, and that's exactly what Tyson Fury is doing with the heavyweight division. He's fighting Chisora because he wants to have at least 2 fights in this year, like he said last year when he beat the shit out of Dillian Whyte. Actually, Dillian Whyte he beat the shit out of this year, but he said it last year. I want to have 2 fights the next year. You know what I mean? He said it last year that he wants 2 fights, Dillian Whyte being one of them, 2 or 3, I think. He wants to be active, and look how difficult it was to make that fight with Dillian Whyte. You know what I mean? It was a bitch to make, you know, because the motherfucker's a bitch. He's gay as well. I want to mention that as well. He's fucking homo. There's nothing wrong with homo people. I'm not saying that, but he's just, you know what I mean by gay in a negative way. Let's just say that much. You know what I mean? He's gay in a negative way. Anyways, well, let's just say, yeah. So that's the same thing. Tyson Fury, same thing with Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford actually had, at least Tyson had a fight. Dillian Whyte. Terence has no fight this year, I think. He had only fight. What did he fight? He had Sean Porter, and actually, no, I take it back. Did he have Sean Porter this year or he had it last year? I think he had it last year. I'm not even sure. Either way, same shit, inactivity, bro. It's not good for you. It's not even good for Errol. Anyone of these fucking fighters. That's all it is. And he's gonna fight him in 2023. So keep your fucking shit in check. But if he doesn't fight in 2023, I said, Fury, I know for sure he's gonna fight Usyk. But if he doesn't fight, if Terrence don't fight Errol Spence in 2023, and not because because if Errol decides to go 154, it's a different story. But if that's him running away. If he automatically next year he decides to go 154, but if he stays and he's asking for it and he still refuses to give the fight in 2023, beginning of the year, then Terrence definitely ducked Errol Spence. You can go ahead and say that, and I will be there. I'll just make a video and say, yeah, definitely this fool ducked. And same thing with Fury. If he doesn't fight Usyk next year, beginning of next year, March, I'll make a video saying that I'm gonna fucking duck him, straight up. But now at this point, you can't say that. There's no way you can say that. If the fight is supposed to be made in 2023 and he decides to fuck, and for both fights, Tyson Fury versus Usyk, Terrence Crawford versus Spence. If it's supposed to be made 2023 and he decides to fight this year just for a tune-up, how is that a duck, bro? I mean, like, use your fucking head, man. Like, don't be stupid, man. Don't make bullshit accusations. Anyways, because you hate the guy. You know, so keep sucking dick. Watch your faggots. Anyways, sorry about the gay people out there. Anyways, I'm out. This is I don't even fucking mean it, but I'm saying it anyway. Sorry for the gay people. This is the Gypsy. I'm out.